All right, I'm not sure how I'm going to integrate this into the video. It might be a separate video, but we are putting those silly fairings for struggling content on hold because look what's back, the panel. So George, yes dog, I'm talking to myself. So George made all the wiring harnesses. I know it looks scary, but we're gonna take that, put it in there, remove the clecos from the boot cowl, reposition the plane over so we can work on it. Some of these wires need to go through the firewall. 90% of them are done. We only have contactors, I guess some starter, not diagnostic, but starter wire and main contactors. So very few need to go through the firewall, but a bunch of them need to go underneath here where we have our communication, our audio panel, and the transponder, fuel pump, fuel pump, autopilot, oil pump, low fuel sender, magnetometer. Yes, you are the magnetometer. What else? Trim, and he did this, which is really cool. It's basically our switch panels, which pop in here, and they are on their own harness. This is a, I guess, waterproof aviation grade relay for the oil pump, ignition switch. Everything's labeled. He's got stacks and stacks of documentation and wiring diagrams. I'm gonna leave that part up to him. I'll just do the grunt work of putting it all back in. So, job one, reposition the plane so we have some room. This is one of those design changes that I made to how this piece goes together, and I think it's worth mentioning because I think it's pretty cool. One of my other videos, you can see I made this piece that basically sits there, and it has two purposes. One is that it acts as a brace, you know, here, because you're supposed to glue little braces in there anyway, but more importantly, I omitted every other rivet. I think they had 12 rivets going around it or something, and I put nut plates on here and then just glued the boot onto this. So obviously you only have 6 screws and you can take this out. The boot sandwiches in between there, so it's not going to come out. But more importantly, if you need to service anything, since we have a lot of wiring that's going to be underneath here, like this is going to be a part that you might need to access more frequently for service. Hopefully not, but at least you can if you have to. This whole thing comes out without having to deal with getting the boot over the shifter and the wires and the shifter. Did I say shifter? The stick. And sorry, still early. But anyway, so that's how I did that. Another part that I kept removable that was supposed to be permanently riveted was this guy here, and I think that's a good idea. I always have the feeling that if I permanently rivet something, guaranteed I'm going to have to get behind it and it's going to be a pain. So instead of putting the rivets in, I literally just tapped the tangs that were on the on the cage. And I know this is all different on mine here, but one more. But this allows you to get at the pulleys real easy. I know my tank can come out, but this tank doesn't come out so easy. So you can do the adjustments for the turnbuckles. In my case, I have the smoke oil hose here, and I just think it's a good idea. Like I said, I just tap these and put these in. This piece clips over, so that actually helps hold it in, which is nice. This is my fabrication for my movable, sorry, my hinged cargo door. And I also made these removable. I'll show you those in a minute. So I did up here, so oh, come on. I put all the rivets in as they called for, but I didn't put them through this skin. And instead, I left like every fourth one, I think, open. And I put a nut plate, a 30-second nut plate. And that allows me to basically get behind here. Now, is there anything behind here? No, not really. But say I want to change the color of the interior, then we can do that. But also with like finishing this up. Again, if you leave it accessible, chances are Murphy's Law, you'll never have to get at it. But if you close it up, you might. So if I were to do it again, I would definitely do this. I like this idea. I like this removable. I like the front ideas. That's why I'm kind of pointing them out. There's some things, obviously, that I've done as a first-time builder that are just a big waste of time, but that I wouldn't do again. But this is good. I see no reason why not to do this. So I started to take the whole center console out, but then I realized that's probably unnecessary because there's nothing under there, and I already made this harness to come out here, so all the wiring's gonna be there. So even if we have to take it out to make the connections, the final sizing and length for the wire all needs to be in that area. Another thing I did over here, I don't know, I thought it was cool, and the factory tells you to hook it over this, I believe, the cage tube that's here, and then slide it in underneath. I combined these two, and you can see that in an earlier video, and then I bent the bottom out and just screwed it right into the floorboards, just the same way this front panel is in. And again, it just makes it secure. Oh, wait. Oh, actually looks like I added an angle iron. Yeah, I forget. But anyway, yeah, so that sits in like that, and then there's 3 screws that go right into the floorboard. I would do that again. I guess I'm kind of going over what made sense and what doesn't. And then this is sound deadening material that I have in there, insulation. But yeah, it just slides in there. That worked out really well. All right, another helpful hint, hopefully, maybe not, is on these ones, they have you do like push pins. I ended up putting a nut plate. Main reason again is just I like uniform hardware, so it's all the same. You just need the same tool. You can pretty much take this whole plane apart with a Phillips head screwdriver, other than the 2 3/8 bolts or 3/16 bolts with a 3/8 hat that hold the cargo net in or station 4 closeout. But talking to some builders that are building, there's a lot of confusion on, or I've seen people put this on top of the tube. I am convinced it goes below the tube. A couple of reasons. A, it fits much better. You're probably hesitant to do it because you got to cut so much off the bottom, but it makes this groove fit where the seat thing moves up and down. And also, once the seat is in, if you put it on top of the tube and you get in and out, your butt's gonna be just destroying that corner, and there's really nothing to support it. So by going below the tube and just cutting out where the welds are, it fits 100% better. So if you're at that stage, yeah, it does come out, trust me. There we go. If you're at that stage, you know, this is kind of what I did. And covering it in the material is also nice. It just makes it feel nice to go in and out. And here you can see the way I did the nut plate. And I'm also planning on running 99% of the wires, hoses, and cables up there. This is for the smoke line, so I actually did a solid line because it's significantly smaller than the big fat rubber line that they give you. You can see the size difference right here. So this side is pretty much done. We do have a good harness coming to here, but then going back. I think the only thing we have is power for the smoke pump, which is right there. This side is going to have a little bit more on the pilot side. It's going to have 2 pitot tubes, the low fuel sender. This is the trim wire, so that's done. 2 more antenna wires, and then the fuel pump wire, which goes to here. So I think we'll be able to fit it all up inside that channel. I cut, if you look at the back side, I cut a good amount out here to give you 3/8 times, you know, whatever that distance is to go through. So you literally have enough room to hopefully run all the wires, hoses, and lines. But all right, well, that's how the interior comes apart. That was actually kind of fun. I haven't had it apart since I built it. And George is going to come over later to work on the harness for the dash panel. So now I'm going to take the boot cowl off. She's naked. Like we just went back halfway through the build. Let's see if I can remember. I had built this dimensionally correct box for George to do the harnesses. And let's see if I can remember how to transfer that back into that. Here's something else that's probably a little different, is the way I mounted these, because this is the firewall, and you know, obviously it's going to be hard to get access up there, especially at my age. So even on our little panel here, I made these little hooks that rivet on, all right? And basically the idea is that, see those rubber things right there? These they're actually just part of a fuel line. So I got some wires in the way, I'll show you in a second. But basically this hooks onto that and then bolts onto the P-clamp in the front. So I had designed these before I put the insulation on, and it was actually on my to-do list to trim the insulation where that locks in, but you get the idea. I still got to do that. And then you put a P-clip here, so really it's not going anywhere, because I mean, even if this fails up here, you know, it can only bounce up. But I thought it was a pretty good idea, and I don't actually think we need this fuse block, so I'm probably gonna take that out.